Hi and greetings to all of you once again. As mentioned in the previous video, I shall tell you all how I prepared for my IIM PhD interviews in this video. So once I gave my JRF exams, with the anticipation that I will qualify the exam, I started preparing my SOP and for my PhD interviews. So I was hardly left with time because I invested a lion's share of my time preparing my JRF exams. So I planned it accordingly and hence I divided my preparatory stage into three parts. The first and foremost part was obviously the preparation of SOP or research proposal depending on the IIMs which you apply for. And the second part was the brushing up of knowledge in OBHR subjects. And third, I focused on brushing up my knowledge in basic statistics and research methodology. So throughout all these three stages, Yusuf sir and Super 20 has helped me a lot. The basic statistics and research methodology sessions, quizzes, the SOP review sessions, and most importantly, the mock interviews helped me really good and prepared me well enough for the interviews. So next question is how I reached my SOP topic. So what I did was in Google Scholar, I searched papers of my area in general and went through the titles of as many papers as I could, and whichever titles which I found as catchy enough, I downloaded those papers alone. And as instructed by Yusuf sir, I just went through the abstract and conclusion alone of these papers. I didn't go through the details of these papers or methodology or anything. So first I wanted to know if it suits my area of interest, right? So I read the abstract and conclusion, and what I did next was I started jotting down the titles of these articles along with their author name, keywords, and the meaningful insights which I got from reading those abstracts and conclusions in an Excel sheet. The benefit of doing this is that I could get an overview of whichever papers I read without the need to go through those papers again and again. So that is how I narrowed down my SOP topic. And I observed that in IIMs like IIM Ahmedabad, the OBHR area is divided into two. Like OB PhD is different and PhD in HRM is different. So I did not have the time to make two SOPs, and hence what I did was I chose one topic from OB, that is dark triad, and from HRM I chose another topic, job crafting. So I combined and connected these two topics and made an SOP. My SOP was titled as the influence of dark triad characteristics on job crafting dimensions. So actually this is one strategy which I used wherein I could save some of my time so that I can apply to whichever IIMs I want without the need to make more than one SOP. With regards to writing of your SOP, I would suggest to keep it as simple as possible and write it in a lucid language. Also ensure that your SOP topic is backed by a strong theoretical framework. It shouldn't feel like that you have just written something which came on the top of your mind. So this will give authenticity to what you have written. For example, my topic was on job crafting. So I backed my proposal or SOP with the JDR model, that is the job demand resources model. So there should be some models or theoretical frameworks which is backing your SOP. Many IIMs ask you not to just write an SOP, but they do ask you certain questions as well, such as describe your career goals in 50 to 100 words, your prior research experiences, why do you want to pursue a PhD, why do you want to pursue a PhD from this particular IIM, and so on. So you should be ready with answers for these questions as well. Another thing that you should ensure is that keep at least one point that distinguishes that particular IIM from other institutions and IIMs. These are the things that you should keep in mind while writing your SOP. And now we will move on to our interview preparations. While preparing for your interviews, ensure that you have conceptual clarity of the subjects in your domain, especially of those concepts which are relating to your SOP topic, because that will be the area of focus during your interview. Next, you should focus on research methodology and statistics. From research methodology, you can expect questions based on types of research, sampling methods, and so on. And in the statistics part, you can focus on correlation, regression, assumptions of linear regression, the difference between correlation and regression, then statistical tests like t-test, z-test, f-test, the differences between them, then type 1 error, type 2 error, etc. Now let's move on to my interview experiences. Due to the late arrival of my JRF results, I could apply to only 6 IIMs, out of which IIM Lucknow was the only old IIM. Rest of the IIMs were IIM Nagpur, Raipur, Kashipur, Ranchi and Amritsar. So IIM Raipur interview was the first one to be held. So on the day of interview, I was expecting my interview to begin with a self introduction. That is how usually the interviews start, right? So when the list of candidates to be interviewed was put up, I saw that my name was the first one. I was expecting it a little later. So I got tensed, very much tensed. And the moment I thought about this, the interview started. The panel was right in front of me and the Zoom meeting started. So, seeing my face, he was a very sweet professor. He told me, Radhika, please don't be nervous. And they didn't even ask for my self introduction. So, whatever I had planned in my mind regarding the interview went upside down. So, it was not at all as I planned. So, I couldn't catch up with it. I went blank. So the first interview experience was really bad, and they asked me few questions, not so tough questions, but still I couldn't answer them properly because I was nervous from the beginning, right? So after that interview I was so disheartened and I even felt like not preparing for the upcoming interviews. The next interview to happen was that of IIM Amritsar, which was conducted one day just after IIM Raipur's interview. So I didn't feel like preparing. I didn't prepare as well. So there was a RAT exam conducted by IIM Amritsar, that is Research Aptitude Test. Apart from the JRF scorecard, RAT scores were also considered along with the interview scores. Okay, so for IIM Amritsar, on the day of interview, I called my professor and spoke to him for a very little while, and then he told me out of nowhere that today you are gonna do well. So I don't know why that gave me so much positivity, so much positive energy that I immediately felt confident. Then I attended Amritsar interview, in which they asked me questions on current affairs, like my take on Supreme Court's verdict of a recent heated issue, then my knowledge about Sri Lankan financial crisis, and so on. So basically, I applied for the area of OBHR, and my topic was in no way connected to finance, but still they asked me about financial crisis, right? So we should be updated with the things happening in and around us. So that interview went really good, and the next in line interview was that of IIM Kashipur. Here they asked me questions such as who introduced the concept which was mentioned in my SOP topic, and so on. This interview as well went fine, and the fourth interview which I attended was that of IIM Lucknow. So if I remember it right, it was in this interview that they asked me how do I decide whether a variable should be dependent or independent. So I told them that for certain variables there are established theories wherein it says that this particular variable can or cannot be dependent or independent variable, and in certain situations like if we are studying the influence of rainfall on crop yield, we can say that by the application of ration that rainfall can influence crop yield, but the increase or decrease in crop yield will not influence rainfall, right? So rainfall is the independent variable and crop yield will be the dependent variable. So IIM Lucknow interview as well went good enough. So the Lucknow results came surprisingly in 2 to 3 days. So Ranchi and The Nagpur interviews were after that, but by the time the Lucknow interview results came and I was selected, and hence I didn't attend the interviews of IIM Ranchi and Nagpur. So the out of the four interviews which I attended, I could convert three of them: IIM Lucknow, IIM Amritsar, and IIM Kashipur. In your interview, you may also expect a question like, how will you contribute to the institute if you get selected? So you may answer something like, you will be an independent researcher capable of publishing papers in top journals, which will serve the growth needs of the institute and yourself, right? So that is one way of answering. You may find your own answers. And another thing that you should be aware is that of the faculty profiles. It's really important. So you should be knowing how many professors or assistant professors are there in your area, what are their areas of interest, and who are the professors whose areas matches with your research interest. So these things should be known to you. So these are basically the things which you should give attention to during your interview preparations. So this is all about my interview experiences at IIMs, and right now I have joined IIM Lucknow and my coursework is going on. I hope this video helps you, and what I have to say you all is that there will be days when you feel low, doubting yourself, not feeling confident for attending interviews, but try to stay on track. You will have the confidence. You have prepared enough, you have given your best, so you will succeed for sure. Just have the faith in yourself, trust the process, and everything will happen, right? So that's all. Wish you all good luck. Thank you.